Morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday. Happy Friday. It's the 16th day of February 2024. I hope you're all safe and healthy today and that your families are safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with first responders who are out here every day saving lives. Those also that pick up garbage to keep our places clean. Those also that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover. Teenagers and children that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People who have also been victims of pornography and child pornography, victims of prostitution and child prostitution, victims of human trafficking and sex slavery. Double curses on all the perpetrators of these things. Double curses on those who actually profit from these things. Double curses on all the perverts that create these industries. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and children today homeless in the United States and increasingly senior citizens. And millions of people around the world that are in even worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So I wanted to try to clarify the rationale of the trade that the Knicks made with Detroit to obtain Alec Burks and Bogdanovic around the Quentin Grimes being the centerpiece going back. I've been getting several questions. Why did we do this trade? Bogdanovic can't play any defense, neither could Frenchie. Burks is not as good as we thought he was. I've been getting several inquiries like this, and I wanted to go over this to help clarify a few things with this trade and with all trades, New York Knicks. Why do I say that? Because since Leon Rose, the Don, has taken control of the front office of the Knicks, now being in this actually spring will be the fourth season since he has been hired. When you're really studying what he's doing, you have to take in consideration really a couple of principles that will help you understand why he does what he does. And what I love about the way Leon Rose and his crew are managing moves for the Knicks is that they always make logical sense. He has not done anything stupid. He's made mistakes, but that's different from making a stupid move. Okay. So first of all, let's understand a basic principle so that can help all you Knicks Nation, hopefully, or at least most of you. Some of you just refuse to understand, so I'm not talking to you. But there are so many of y'all that have an inquiry or an interest in really understanding what's going on. When you're looking at any move Leon Rose in the front office makes, you have to look at it in two ways. Always look at it in two ways. He never makes a move that solves just something immediately. Every move that Leon Rose makes is designed with an immediate impact and a future impact. So when you're looking at a move, you have to look at both of those. What is the future impact of what he just did? And what is the possible immediate impacts of what he just did? That's one principle. Second principle is you must understand that Leon Rose, as I always say, he doesn't play checkers. He's playing multi-dimensional chess. And I'm not a chess expert, but I know a master of it when I see one. And one of the things about chess is there are multiple ways to get to checkmate. You win the game in checkmate. In basketball with the Knicks, the checkmate is championship. Okay, so you have avenues to help you get to checkmate. And you want to keep your options as those avenues open. This is one of the hallmarks of Leon Rose. He keeps options open. He never decides beforehand what he's going to do. But just like what Tom Thibodeau says in terms of playing on the floor, when he says, let the game tell you what to do, Leon Rose does that in the front office. So what do I mean? So he's got his, at the beginning of this next year, he's got his starting five. R.J. Barrett. It was Quentin Grimes. It was Brunson, it was Mitchell Robinson, it was Julius Randle. Now, he felt, and a lot of us felt like if OG Anunoby was available, if he was, what would it cost to get him? And I remember I did a video last summer, and I told y'all that if we were able to get him and put him instead of RJ at that spot, it would bring the Knicks to multiple levels up, which it did. So he's looking at it and say, okay, what is it going to cost me? Because another thing about Leon Rose, he is never going to overpay. We have had presidents of basketball operations, the most recent one that I remember, well, Glenn Gunroll and then Isaiah Thomas, multiple times overpaying for transaction and costing the Knicks long term. By not overpaying, you're saving yourself long term. Leon Rose, one of the great things about him, which is why I always call him the Don, he never overpays, ever. Okay, so he's never going to overpay. So when you're thinking about what contract he would give a guy, just remember that he's not going to overpay. So when he's looking at OG Anunoby, he realizes he's going to have to give up RJ Barrett, and that's no problem because RJ's from Toronto. It worked for RJ, which is another tenet. He tries to do what's best for the guy he's sending out. He's not just looking for what he could get without caring about the player he's sending out, which is also something that players around the league notice. So he knows RJ is from Toronto. Most likely, RJ would not have a problem with the trade. Not that RJ can approve or disapprove the trade, but this is how Leon Rose operates. So he realizes that Toronto will want Emmanuel quickly. So now Leon's got to make a decision with RJ and Emmanuel quickly. Okay? So he comes to the conclusion that and then OG Anunoby at the same time signs with CAA, and he realizes this could be a good match. And so he makes the move to get OG. Now, IQ was going to start for somebody. He didn't sign the extension. And I was telling y'all, Minnesota, San Antonio, several teams, Detroit, several teams, and I mentioned Toronto, that would love to have Emmanuel quickly as their starting point guard. Washington, several. So he was going to have his choice. So by including him now, you give him a team where he could start at the point, you put RJ back in his hometown, and you get the player you want. But the genius stroke was he added Precious Achiuwa to that trade. And I told y'all at the time, that wasn't no throw-in. Malachi Flynn was the throw-in. And I like Malachi Flynn. Throw-in is not always a bad thing. But Malachi Flynn was the throw-in. Precious Achiuwa was 24 years old in his rookie deal and had potential, much upside, as you can now see. So now he gets Precious Achiuwa, not just for now, but for the future. He gets OG for now. Okay? That brings me to the next deal, which is the Bogdanovic Burks deal. It was reported by Ian Begley that the Knicks had been talking to Detroit about Burks for a minute, and it makes sense. Burks is one of Tom Thibodeau's favorites. You know, Tom has his favorites. He loved IQ as a rookie. Burks is another one of them guys. He loves Juju. He loves Burks. For better or for worse. Okay, we could talk about worse in a minute, but he loves Burks. So my point being, Burks was the target. At the same time, what many of you don't understand, they say, why do we have to trade Grimes? Grimes wanted out. He felt like he should be starting. He didn't like going to the mob deep. Okay, now we can look at it and say, well, shoot, as I did, I love Grimes, but we cannot deny how well Dante DiVincenzo was playing. Dante DiVincenzo got championship experience. Dante DiVincenzo's in his prime. Grimes is not. He's got more upside. He's going to get there, but he's not there now, which also brought to my attention, like I mentioned maybe a few weeks ago, is that once they got Jalen Brunson, it was win now. Okay, so what they wanted to find out is between the youngins that they had, who is ready for win now? RJ is not. Grimes is not. IQ was, but you got to bring something to get. You got to bring something to get some. So now Grimes wants to get an opportunity to start. So now he sends out Grimes, and a lot of teams wanted Grimes. Okay, a lot of teams was interested in Quentin Grimes. He gets that opportunity in Detroit, and Burks is coming. Now, Bogdanovic was the throw-in. What are you getting from Bogdanovic? This is the thing. See, presently, you have Evan Fournier, and I think everybody knows Evan Fournier wanted out. He wasn't playing for good reason, because he can't play no defense. But his $19 million contract was going to be of value in a trade. So he sends out that $19 million contract, and he gets back a $19 million contract, which is partially guaranteed for next year, not fully guaranteed, that he can use in a trade this summer. He gets Tom Thibodeau's trophy in Burks. But with Burks, we're not just talking about his diminished capacity or whatever on the basketball floor. We're talking about a $10 million expiring contract that you can get some mileage out of in this second half of the season. That's what we're dealing with. So now he's got Burks, which is what Tom wanted. He gets $29 million to work with this summer. And if, let's say, for example, if they were able to turn that into Mikal Bridges, I'm just saying, I haven't heard anything, but to me, that's the one that makes the most sense. If they were to able to turn that into Mikal Bridges, then what you can look back and say in July is we turned Quentin Grimes into Mikal Bridges. That's how chess work. Now, let's say we can't get Mikal. Well, again, you got multiple avenues. So now you still got the $29 million. In case somebody else comes up that we don't know about yet. But you're in position to pounce come summertime. Right now, I don't know how Tom's going to use Bogdanovic. I don't know, because he can't play defense. He had to use him over the past week because they only had 6 guys. But when everybody's back, I don't know where he fits. He may not fit at all, but his $19 million, that's the most valuable part about Bogdanovic coming into the summer. See, the Knicks got the draft capital. If you're talking about a Mikal Bridges would only, some say he would not, the Nets would not deal with the Knicks. What y'all need to understand is this ain't high school. This ain't college. This is the league. And in the league, if you are rebuilding, you get whatever you can get from whoever's going to give it to you. And that's the key with Mikal Bridges. If the Nets are committed to rebuilding, and I get the feeling by trading Spencer Dinwiddie, I get the feeling they are committed to a rebuild. If the Nets are committed to a rebuild, they would save their best chips for the summer and try to get as many number 1 picks as they can. This is the centerpiece of that deal. If deal for Mikal Bridges would not include a player that's of value because they're rebuilding, not like a 27-year-old. Some people say they're going to build around Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is really good, but he's not the guy. He's not Embiid. He's not Antetokounmpo. He's not DeLuca. He's not the guy to build around. He's the ancillary piece that could get you over the top. Okay, so now if you can get him Mikal, the centerpiece of that trade is draft capital. Whether it's 3 number 1s, 4 number 1s, whatever it is, that's the centerpiece of that trade. And then the money has got to match, which is where Bogdanovic comes in. Okay, so you can trade Grimes and turn Grimes into Mikal, or you still got the draft capital. So in other words, come draft night, the Knicks got 2 number 1s on draft night. And people want them number 1s. I don't care if they're the first pick or the 25th pick or the 30th pick. If they number 1s, you got some good players come out in the NBA in the second half of the draft. Just go back and look over the last 10 years. You get some really good players in the second half of the draft now. So people know that. You want some number 1s? We got them. What you got? Well, for the Nets, they got Mikal. So that's why this deal was done. It was done because Tibbs wanted Burks. Okay, he got him. And the Don wanted flexibility for the summer. And he got that. So again, when you're looking at the Don's deals, from day one, he's been doing it. When he first came in, he was collecting all these second round picks. And then he turned them into players and future picks. Okay, so he's always doing something for the present, but he's also looking for the future. Every deal is like that. Okay, you have to think about that when he does a deal. What's the future value of this deal? In this case, It's this summer. And it could be Mikal Bridges. Just wanted to pass that on to y'all. I hope it helps some of y'all. In the meantime, please enjoy your Friday. Be safe. Shalom.